The fact is, the President of the United States has every right to ask countries to help us in a criminal investigation that should be undertaken.
So that's Rudy Giuliani in a very interesting defense for Donald Trump. See, it appears that when it is Donald Trump, asking a foreign country to dig up dirt on your political opponents is completely 100% kosher, right? I was going to say okay, but that is now a hate symbol. So let's not go in that direction. But okay, so here you have probably one of the most ridiculous arguments. Again, part of this investigation, funny enough, or purported investigation into so-called corruption launched by the Trump administration, or at least promoted by many on the right, is that, oh, no. It was Hillary Clinton working with Ukraine to try to beat Donald Trump. So now, wait, if that's true, and what Giuliani is saying is true, well, then Hillary Clinton also should not be in trouble. You can't really have it both ways, can you? But okay, so let me get more into this interview, which is already hilarious. This happened on Sunday with Fox host Howard Kurtz. Now, Howard Kurtz actually had a disagreement with Giuliani on this, and he pointed out that Biden is a political opponent, was a political opponent, and so investigating him, or I should say, trying to get a foreign government to investigate him, is not legal. So let's watch the rest of that, and then we'll break it down.
The fact is, the President of the United States has every right to ask countries to help us in a criminal investigation that should be undertaken.
That happens to involve a political opponent.
Well, I can't help that. I mean, suppose the political opponent committed murder. What are we going to do? He's a political opponent, so you don't investigate him? The fact is, this is not a political opponent. It doesn't start that way. I started it in November of 2018 solely for one single purpose, because I'm his defense lawyer, and it exonerates him.
All right,
it shows that there was a lot more collusion in Ukraine than in Russia, and that Joe Biden materially assisted in getting some of that covered up.
We'll get to
and
that.
Also, by the way, got his son out and got a $5 billion crooked oligarch free, who's now running around Ukraine thanking Joe Biden.
We'll get to that in a moment.
That stinks to high heaven.
By the way, Joe Biden wasn't a candidate in 2018, but everyone knew he was likely to run.
Wait. That means Joe Biden then is completely immune from ever being investigated.
I'm not saying that, Rudy.
Yes, it is. Listen. 2 years before, he can't be investigated?
But here's the thing. Here, let me get to the numbers. Let me ask the question.
20 years of a Washington press corps that was...
We will get to that, but you got to let me ask the question.
Corrupt.
You say you were representing...
Allegation after allegation of corruption.
Okay. So look, that's fun. Because he keeps going on. It goes on like this, where Kurtz is like, I got to ask you, no, we got corruption. We got so much corruption. Joe Biden. Oh, okay, look, you want to talk about corruption? He's actually right in that it is corruption. It's systemic corruption. Now, I guess the good part about that, which I don't think there is any good parts, but the good part for them doing the corruption is that systemic corruption is usually legal. And that's because they rigged the system in their favor. Now, nobody says that what Joe Biden, maybe there's a few people that say that what Joe Biden has done, or having his son get $50,000 a month working at a Ukrainian gas company when he knows nothing about gas. Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. No, that's not. No, that is, of course, benefiting off basically having a powerful family member. So I happen to be against it. I think most Americans also happen to be against that. That is systemic corruption. It's shady as hell and it's not right, but unfortunately, according to our laws, it's legal. That's way different than personal corruption, right? And that's what this is. So now that whole interview devolved very, very quickly, as you could see. Even Howard Kurtz is like, look, dude, the law is pretty obvious. You can investigate your political opponent. That's fairly true. And look, Giuliani himself, he said in that video, it might have been one of the parts that I cut out, but in that video, and you can check out the whole thing. We'll have a link in the description so you can watch that whole exchange. He's like, look, I started this investigation 6 months ago in 2018. And then he goes to saying, oh, you can't investigate a political opponent for 2 years, but you didn't even start that investigation as Donald Trump's personal lawyer. Again, he makes no sense, contradicts himself, and throws out nonsense talking points. But let's get to some substance here about Giuliani's defense, right? So now he says, oh, if you committed a murder, then you can't be investigated. Did Joe Biden kill anybody? I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't. I'm pretty sure nobody died here. And by the way, there's no actual crime committed by the Bidens. Again, the difference between systemic and personal corruption. So, and by the way, if you're going to investigate people getting, jobs and because of their, parents' names or getting certain breaks, etc., well, I'd love to look into that. You know who would be looking into? Trump's kids. Or the child or children of anyone who's ever been powerful that have gotten a job based on their name. Meghan McCain, great example. The only reason she's on The View is because she's a McCain. All right, well, let's do another one. Chelsea Clinton. Be bipartisan about this, right? What has Chelsea Clinton done in her entire life? Nothing. But she happens to be the daughter of Hillary and Bill Clinton. Okay, Hunter Biden, another great example, right? But again, this isn't a crime, and it's not murder. Nepotism might be, especially in the case of Ivanka Trump. So, besides, again, we do have evidence of a crime here. Asking a foreign country to dig up dirt on your political rival is a crime, plain and simple. There doesn't need to be quid pro quo here for an impeachment. You cannot solicit anything of value from a foreign national or country when it comes to an election. You just can't. Even Fox News knows they can't defend him on this. Napolitano said this was impeachable. Hannity, in front of the camera, he's like, oh, it's witch hunt 2.0. This is the worst thing that they're doing to this president. I can't believe they're doing it to Trump again. But behind the scenes is like, this looks terrible. Terrible. The network is even planning for a post-Trump era, which, by the way, it's only nearly the end of his first term. Why would they be preparing right now already for post-Trump era if it didn't look really, really bad for Trump now, especially when it comes to re-election or possible removal from impeachment? I don't know, man. It seems like some people are preparing, on the Republican side, are preparing for the worst, while Giuliani continues to try to clown his way around cable news. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.